Yeah, fuck that. Just get regular non-stack.
Wait, did you start the comp already?
Yeah, we're in it right now.
I wasn't in the lobby.
Really?
You never invited me.
Okay, what do I do?
I don't know.
Shit. Shit, why didn't you join the lobby, man? I invited
Never
you.
invited
I did too. You can
No,
join
you
on your
didn't.
own, man. Fuck, that was my bad. I thought you were in it. What do I do?
It didn't even show you in a lobby for me.
Okay.
I
What do
don't
you?
know what you.
Wait, we can still do like separate ones and just talk. I mean, it really won't change anything. Shit.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess.
This is gonna be the best episode ever. This is a good omen. This episode is gonna be the best. You know what did it is I just drank a ton of vodka, so that probably did me. Oh, that probably did me in. You could always just view my game too. This way you could actually like think instead of play, and see if you can tell the 140. What are you gonna do? Here.
I have no idea. I was planning on playing CS:GO with you, but apparently you had other plans.
Okay, I think this might work better. This might work even better. Next time I'll watch it. You know what? We can do that. So, our first topic and whatnot. I think I'm gonna steamroll these people. That's just my.
So you want me to just sit in the lobby while you?
And then hold on. Then no. Watch me, and then I'll watch you.
Oh, spectate you. Okay, got you. Hello and welcome to the Counterpoint Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by a cripplingly low sense of self-worth. I'm Shoddy, and here with Burris.
Hi.
And today we're going to teach you to lower your expectations. Because we've already gotten off to a great start.
I would say it's a good omen.
I mean, I feel like critical failure of what you intend to do isn't exactly a good omen.
I mean, it's not a critical error. It's just a failure.
This podcast literally has like two details about it. One, we talk, and two, we play Counter-Strike together. And one of those things has failed.
Yeah, but if anything, maybe how you were saying that, you know, the Counter-Strike might detract from the actual conversation.
Nice.
Well, who knows? We might be able to focus more heavily on the conversation
Right
at
side.
hand.
One still right side.
Well, I mean, at least I'll be able to.
For sure. Like mid. Nice, dude.
But anyway, let's jump into the first thing. I want to tell you about this
Right here.
bet that is going on between me and one of my roommates right now.
Ah, kill him!
So, my roommate Megan, she's engaged to the guy who got me out here to get me the job and everything. She is concerned that I will die alone. And so in her
Okay.
mind, she needs to do everything she can to ensure that doesn't happen. Which is mostly just annoying for me, but, you know, whatever. You know, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
Well, we were at the store the other day, and I bought these
Not from mid.
deep fried Twinkies from like the frozen food
Nothing
aisle,
cat.
Yeah.
which, you know,
B.
I picked them up and I'm like, these are gonna be disgusting, which is why I bought them.
It's
And
really why you
so-
buy anything.
That is actually, we bought those Crush Pop Tarts and like A&W root beer Pop Tarts. They were vile. But anyway, so I got these deep fried Twinkies with the intention of making Megan and everyone else try them. So we're making
Yeah.
dinner the other day, and I say to Megan, I'm gonna make those Twinkies tonight. And she says, okay, but I'm not having them. I was like, yes you are. That's the whole point of me getting these Twinkies, is that everyone's going to have one.
True.
And she was like adamantly refusing. So I was like, okay, Megan, if I let you restructure
One lower.
one of these dating apps for me, like build a profile for me, will you eat one of these Twinkies? And initially she agreed, but then she realized what I was doing,
One light
in
lower.
that she would set up a profile and then I would never use it. So it didn't quite go to plan. And so the stipulation arose that I would have to
There you go.
get 5 conversations, like of decent length, out of women on this app. So I agreed to it. I was like, no problem. And then they realized, like, hey, what's to stop me from not doing this when she's eating the Twinkie? Because she can't just, like, uneat the Twinkie.
Yeah.
So they put on a condition that I have to complete it within 2 weeks. And since there was this condition, they attached a fail condition, which was fine with me.
Wow,
I
you're
actually
such
did it
a
with
fucking
the-
programmer now. Ugh.
I mean, that's, like, normal speak.
No, you're like, you have to attach a fail condition.
That's... Wait, fail condition is, like, a video game thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the fail condition was that I would have to not play any games until I had played through and completed Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility, which I'm not a huge fan of the Harvest Moon games. I don't really know why, but apparently this one is particularly long and it has a lot of weird content, so you have to like save these like rainbow fairies or something like that. Basically, Megan picked it because I wouldn't like it, and so I was like, okay. But if that's the case and you're setting up a fail condition, I want a speedrun condition. If I can get all of 5 in like 3 days, you have to play Kingdom Hearts from start to finish without playing anything else. Because Megan has refused to play Kingdom Hearts. So that's sort of the bet that's going on.
So wait. What's your part that she has to play Kingdom Hearts on now?
Wait, what do you mean?
So what do you have to do that she has to play Kingdom Hearts on?
Oh, if I can get all 5 conversations done within 3 days.
Okay,
So it's like
I
a
would
speed
say,
condition.
hold on, I would say you need a more serious bet here. That's what I
I mean, we're already mid-bet.
All
This
right.
is day 2.
And how many conversations have you had?
4, possibly 5.
Okay, on what dating app?
OkCupid.
My personal choice, if I had to choose one. But here's the thing, right? Those conversations really mean nothing. I mean, I would say that you'd have to go on 2 dates with 2 different girls. That would be my bet, but I'm,
I mean, that like just wasn't gonna happen.
or dudes, whoever.
I mean, that definitely wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, we're having, like, all of my roommates and Robert's girlfriend are enacting, like, a sort of panel to judge the conversations to make sure they have enough merit to be considered for the bet.
That's true. That I mean, here's the thing: if you don't like talk about yourself and have them talk and stuff like that, I think it wouldn't really consider. If it's just like a bunch of sarcastic bullshit, it doesn't really count.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, you can
They're
start
definitely-
with
they're definitely
sarcastic.
judging them.
You could start with sarcastic bullshit, but if it's all nothing but sarcastic bullshit, it didn't really get anywhere. I'd say, the conversation's good if when you're like, hey, you want to meet up or something, if they say like yes, and then you meet up. But,
I mean, none of them are going that far, though. So, I mean, delving into the topic of video games, I'm just going to start with Last Guardian, since it just
yeah,
came out.
I want to hear your opinion on this.
So, I haven't played it a tremendous amount. I got it the day of release, played it for about an hour, and went to sleep because I was dead tired. And then I played it the next day for another hour or 2. And it's not
Yeah.
bad. It's very, very visually, like, very good looking.
I thought,
And,
that's funny because the things I was seeing from it didn't look very visually interesting at all. They look pretty much like PS3 port.
Yeah.
No, it definitely looks better than a PS3 port.
Huh.
But
Okay.
anyway, so it's cool. I like Trico, which is the
It might
big
be.
like bird griffin thing. I like that creature. It's very interesting seeing its interactions with you and how it interacts with the world and stuff like that. But something about the game like isn't really gripping me in any sort of way. Like I don't feel that drive to keep on and keep on playing. It's very easy for me to stop playing and go do something else.
Maybe you're just growing up.
No, I mean
Done.
it still happens with.
I'm just fucking with you. I know exactly what you mean.
Jesus.
It's kind of like Alright, the newest Deus Ex really got me like that, where it's like have no interest to continue playing. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't. It's very obviously it was very obvious they were trying to go for the whole Black Lives Matter kind of theme, right? And
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna say anything like political, but I had been in that for so long and like seen all that crap that I was like, all right, not interested like in this topic at all, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is news to me. I genuinely did not look at all into the new Deus Ex.
But the
because I
way
couldn't
it
follow.
was brought up is really what I thought it was almost kind of ridiculous. How okay, Deus Ex, right? The people who are modified so that they have like guns in their wrists, they're seen as like the poor masses that are being taken advantage of, right? Like, and
Pretty sure he's right outside.
in a way I kind of get it because the leading up to what happened, you have the whole what do you call it? You know, obviously the first Deus Ex, you have the whole moment where
Hit by
all
that,
the
buddy's a kid.
It's Planet
all the
Fallout.
modificated people, whatever you want to say,
I'll distract him.
go crazy and start killing people, yeah? But
Yeah.
to all of a sudden assume that like just because they're
Whoa, when memes are real.
modified that they're gonna go crazy again, I can somewhat see it. But then like, oh, you know, they're taking advantage of these modified people and they're restricted to do anything. They're so taken advantage of. It's like,
Yeah, that cock is there
all right,
now.
they can still jump like 30 feet in the air and like break down houses with their fists.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Silver
just
as
seems like it seemed so fucking ridiculous, and I just hated the idea of it. I don't know. Something about it just really rubbed me the wrong way, and that they were like trying to do Black Lives Matter, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's like if black people were superheroes.
Lives matter.
Yeah, that's literally what, like, some of their advertisements were literally synth lives matter. It's very important. Synth lives matter, you know, like that whole thing. It's cool, whatever, but are you trying to say like what's the allegory? Are you trying to do an allegory here? Are synth people like black people because they're taken advantage
Oh,
of,
this
or are
is
synth
bad.
people
I'm
like
too
black
high.
people because they're like
Oh,
superheroes?
too high.
Like, I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me.
Little known fact: all black people are actually superheroes.
Yeah, fact. No, but like it just didn't make any sense to me. I was
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know. I haven't really played. I didn't even finish the first one actually. Still.
it seemed kind of and like I'm not one to be triggered, but it seemed kind of like triggering to people, like you know. And I know if people would like pay attention to the series, but they got a lot of flack for that advertisement, the Synth Lives Matters
they try to get the
advertisement.
Oh, sure, because it
You
was.
get 'em normally.
Those ads were coming out right at the same time. It was all like
I'm gonna go
heating
ahead
up,
and
right?
Mm,
I'll look.
around there, yeah.
Yes, I do, yellow.
Yeah. But anyway, on a more positive note of game releases, Final Fantasy 15 came out, and I was pleasantly surprised with that. Or I guess not surprised. I got what I wanted out of it, I should say.
Yeah. By the way, remember when I told you it was going to be very Kingdom Hearts like? Was I
don't remember that. But
correct?
You're
Incorrect?
not wrong if you did say that.
I remember trying to persuade you to get it.
Alright, they're sitting
Oh,
in T spots.
probably like 3 years ago
See
because we
when
didn't
it
really
was.
know when it was going to come out. But I was very much like, hey, you should get
one
this,
I
you should get this. And you're like, nah, I never really liked Final Fantasy. And I'm like, no, this one's by the same people who made Kingdom Hearts, brah.
Well, I wouldn't have said I never really liked Final Fantasy. Or said I've never played Final Fantasy.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's a lot of people's reaction to people who... I don't know. I get it. Like, hey, I've never played a Final Fantasy. They don't get that every Final Fantasy is different, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know that either.
But like trying to explain that, the best way I can do that, the best way I can explain that is just by saying, all right, well, it's kind of like American Horror Story, where every single version, every single version of American Horror Story, no matter the version, every single season is completely different, right?
Doesn't it have the same characters though? Like similar,
No,
or
no.
some of the same characters. It's always different.
Why'd you let him do that?
I'm high on marijuana.
I've never actually watched it, so I don't know.
Oh, true.
But yeah, I didn't know that they were all different
Stop
until
sticking around, just so we
it
can
was
finish this game.
explained to me in depth, like the
Yeah,
differences.
I think I tried to tell you
I
that.
think
Like
two
I was like,
specific games.
okay, they're all different. Like every single one's completely. And you're like, nah, they're part of a series. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like no.
I don't think I would have spoken with authority on a game
You,
I had.
no, you were kind of authoritarian
Once
about
hit
it.
with the first time.
You know what I might have said was I'd still like to play the other ones first.
Maybe, but
Two left one.
nah, you don't want to do that.
There you go.
No, I mean
I don't
didn't
think
do
I
that.
don't think
played
you would have
10.
liked. Yeah, I don't think you really would have liked the other ones, to be frank.
Why not?
The
Okay,
other ones are all
Limit is
very,
not
very,
here.
very
Stop
turn-based.
leaving.
Yeah, no, I've played a
Upper
lot of
tunnels.
turn-based games.
I'm coming to you.
But yeah, I mean, they're not like specifically. It's very aged. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
No, I know. I'm familiar with how they are now.
Yeah, they're very, very aged, and I would say Final Fantasy is one of those games that really needed an update, and 13 gave it like a pseudo update that was really not good. Yeah, I mean, 15 actually gave it a real, what I would consider a real update.
Right here, mid.
Yeah,
Wow.
the combat system was a little weird to play first. Like I couldn't quite get a handle on like when to dodge and block and phase and all that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean once
grab
you
that out, please?
get used to it and you start,
Dude.
you know, fighting a monster well over 2
Right.
times your level and just really using the combat system to your advantage, it just feels
here.
really, really good.
No. No.
And you even mentioned like when you fight things your level or under your level, you just hold circle and win,
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
which was
Wait, what?
terribly dull.
It's hold circle to win. It really is.
And then you fight the big monsters that are out of your range, and it's it's very different.
It's a lot more intense. It's a lot more fun. I'm way more into it. Final Fantasy 15 and I have been playing it on easy. I'm not gonna lie. Has somewhat caught.
Okay, so
You know, I don't really like
I have one
intense
up now.
action, but for whatever reason, it's caught my attention just playing it like a couple of times. Where I've been like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty." I told you about the time I went to the mines and I fought that
I think I'm about
level
to nut in my
54
pants.
or so monster.
Don't tell me what
Yeah.
I can and cannot
Yeah,
do when it says
I literally blew all of my pots, everything, and I was able to just barely win, and it was tough, but I pulled it out.
So my cock is blood.
Yeah, and I like it so much because it is sort of vaguely reminiscent of Dark Souls in that you have to be very reactionary and know when to strike and when to get away and all that.
Yeah.
I've definitely enjoyed it, and I really like the sort of juxtaposition of like it being in a semi-modern
Yeah.
world,
Well, it's
but everyone's
strange.
using these swords and there's like demons and monsters and stuff.
Yeah, it's. I prefer it to any of the other timelines of Final Fantasy, maybe except for X, just because X is kind of like in the past, but yet still in the future kind of thing.
Um,
Mini cross.
another game that's just come out. This will be a
Maybe
brief
Mario
conversation
Bros.
because I
going
feel
in.
like we'll agree on it. But Watch Dogs 2 has come out.
Okay,
It's,
let's
Really-
see how much of an agreement we are in.
it's supposedly non-remarkable.
Oh, really?
Actually, there is one thing to be remarked on. Apparently, you play as a young group
Just play sides.
of these hackers
Please.
who are trying
This
to
is
make
getting-
the world
they're catching
better,
up too.
Like hackers.
and they just straight up murder people.
Okay. Here's my deal with Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs
Current
2.
watch windows.
When you make something that is such a disappointment, I don't see why they even made a sequel. I really don't. I think it was a terrible investment to make a second one.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising to me that they got the green light for a sequel.
Well, here's the thing, right?
Oh,
Not to say that it's a bad game, because it's not a bad game, but like Watch Dogs 1 wasn't bad. It was overhyped, and that caused it to get bad reviews, but I think we've had this discussion before. It's almost better to go into playing a bad game knowing that it's a bad game than, you know, buying a brand new game for $60 that you think is going to be amazing and then getting a really subpar experience.
Yeah.
And I know you sort of disagree, but
Hang tight.
I
it's Pistol
think
Rush, or
you
there's
probably
Pistol Rush.
lost I would say over half of the people who bought Watch Dogs, the first Watch Dogs, compared to those who bought the second one. So you instantly have to think that you're only going to sell half as many copies as an investor.
That's true, but they sort of got around it by doing that sort of pairing with that solid state drive, which is how I got the game.
Yeah, but they don't make as much money. Like, they basically get that almost at a loss.
But it's not necessarily at a loss, and I would have never bought Watch Dogs 2. And I think it's the same for a lot of other people.
That was so.
I don't know. I'm trying to, when I buy a game for $60, just flat out full $60, I'm trying to play through that game immediately. I know you went through your backlog phase where you specifically tried to play like your backlog. I've never been into that.
They don't like the headguns.
If I've been like, okay, disappointed by a game initially, I'm not like trying to pick that game back up, you know? I'm specifically nowadays trying to play the newest game as soon as it comes out and just enjoying that one game. And right now, for Final Fantasy at least, it's worked out splendidly.
I think it depends on the kind of disappointment. Like, I was disappointed in Battlefront. I will not go back and play it again. I'm relatively disappointed in Last Guardian, but I think I will be willing to give it another shot if I don't keep playing it now.
What do you mean don't, like, if you continue playing it right now or don't?
If I end up stopping playing it to go, you know, go back to Final Fantasy and complete that first and go back to other games and stuff like that, I think I will come back to Last Guardian. I will never go back to Battlefront.
Yeah, true. Not even because you bought the collector's edition?
I did not buy the collector's edition.
What if you did?
I still don't think I would.
Yeah, but like you already feel like you kind of gotten pooped on, right? By buying Battlefront.
I definitely did. I spent $65 on that game and played it for maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, and you're quite autistic. You made a graph or chart, if you will, of the most, I suppose you could say, monetarily.
Nice.
How would you say it? Worthwhile games monetarily?
The games I got the most value out of, I would say.
And what ended up being the most valuable game, I suppose you could say?
I'm pretty sure, if you don't include like free games, I'm pretty sure Binding of Isaac ends up taking the cake. Binding of Isaac Rebirth specifically.
Mm-hmm. And obviously free games you couldn't calculate.
Right, you can't feasibly calculate it. I think it depends on the game, how you look at it, because I do it as hours I get out of it per dollar I spent. That's not always a fair assessment, because with something like Final Fantasy 15, for example, I could feasibly, I think, platinum the game in one playthrough.
Potentially.
And that doesn't necessarily mean I would never go back to it, but I wouldn't really ever have to go back to it. And so I may never get 60 hours out of it, but I still don't think I'd have wasted money because I thoroughly enjoy the time that I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, this is a point that I have to say about your value meter, and this is why I kind of was like, oh, okay. Is there are different values, right? So, like Journey, for example, it was 40 minutes or not 40 minutes, 4 hours, and depending on how much you know, there's different levels of enjoyment. Like there's like I somewhat okay enjoy this game, but
Oh,
you know,
my.
I
Of
played a
course,
lot.
whatever.
Like I find Counter-Strike to be similar to this. Like I like the
Yeah,
game.
try it, fucking yellow.
I don't
fuck
like
you up.
cherish
I
it.
mean,
You know what I
orange.
mean?
Yeah.
But I enjoy the time I spend on it. I spend a lot of time on it. And it's always kind of
Fuck
dependable.
you, little pussy. You ain't gonna do shit.
It's a dependable game. Like you can always depend on it to be there and to be fun. At no point is it like not. It's and I'm sure you've played games
Pussy
where
ass piece of
it's a
shit.
very, very fun game. Hit him, hit him. Anyway,
Alright.
it's a very fun game.
Hey, yellow. Please do not.
but at times you just
Whoever
fucking
it is,
hate the game.
orange.
Like you hate it.
It's gonna win. Come on.
What you gonna do, little nigga? What
And I'm not
gonna do,
using
little nigga?
this
Do it.
spreadsheet as like a
With that pistol, little
blanket
nigga.
statement.
Nothing,
Like
please.
You
if
fuck
I
me
don't
up,
go
I kill you,
at
nigga.
least to 1, meaning equal hours to dollars spent on a
Don't
game,
block me.
it's bad or I didn't get enjoyment of it. It's sort of a baseline to look
The
at.
Russian pistols.
Is this game at some level
Rush A.
worth it for me? Because some games I didn't feel some like
One lower.
intense like, oh, this game is great when I played it.
Keep pushing.
But
There's one long.
this is sort of the fallback of like, hey, at least I got my money back in some way.
I suppose. But again, when you think of the value of like a movie, right?
Oh, you got it. Okay.
At times you can spend $10, $15 on a movie. And it's still
Yellow, my nigga.
still more enjoyable than, you know, buying a $15 game most of the time.
I think it's a different situation though, because it's not possible for me to get a 1-to-1 ratio out of a movie, so I wouldn't set up a system like that. With games, it's perfectly reasonable to get.
Yeah,
a
but we're talking about just. I'm talking more broadly. You know, there's no specific really gauge. There's no gauge.
But anyway, thanks
Okay.
for watching or listening, whatever the case may be.
This is insane.
And Burris will now just fawn over the new CS:GO system.
What
we'll
the
see you
hell?
next time.
What does this mean?